Jay Shetty at one of your shows.
Yeah,
huh?
I had Jay Shetty's wife, Ravi, come to my show.
Yeah, what was that like?
Crazy.
Priya Mehta is a comedian, actress, and content creator who spent 10 years in finance before making the jump to entertainment.
It's been awesome working with different comedians. I get to put people on and sell out venues, so it's been awesome.
She has hosted and sold out comedy shows, earned a spot on the Laugh Factory banner, and has built her brand through comedy and content creation.
All I can see is me walking into like an arena full of people.
All right, Priya, welcome to the show. So good to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
First of all, we met on Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
An app years ago that we thought was going to really transform the future.
Yes. Well, for those who don't know, Clubhouse was an app that you can dial in during COVID where we couldn't go anywhere. So there would be like all these people talking to each other, having rooms, having different conversations and stuff. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was great. That's where we met, and I believe this is our first time
This is the
meeting
first time we're
in
meeting.
person.
Very LA on a podcast. Very, very LA.
I was talking to someone outside. I was like, "Yeah, I run a podcast." I said, "Don't we all?"
Yeah, everyone has a podcast.
Basically.
I remember when I first moved to LA, I'm like, I'm starting a podcast. People are like, it's not a big deal. Everyone has a podcast. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. We did Clubhouse. We created rooms, and the room we decided to create, I don't know whose idea, maybe both of ours, was a talent show room.
Yes.
Right? And
That's
it was,
right.
I did the Mickey Mouse impression, and
You were
did.
infamous, and I was doing comedy because at that point we were just doing like comedy rooms and nights. So I think that was like a talent show, and everyone was coming on and just, yeah, it was so crazy.
And you do a ton of comedy right now.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I produce, host, and do comedy, but I produce my own South Asian comedy shows all around LA, and then now I've branched out to just like multicultural shows because I started with a niche, and then now let's include everyone, not just the South Asians.
Everybody likes to laugh.
Exactly. There's
right?
also many talented comedians out there that are not South Asian, so it's been awesome working with different comedians. I get to put people on and sell out venues, so it's been awesome.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I did want to kind of take it back a little, and then we're going to dive all into that comedy career you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Growing up, you grew up, my last guest was from New Jersey, and I said, we got New Jersey in the house.
New Jersey in the house. Let's go.
And he was like, nobody says it like that. And I saw a video of yours where
literally, it's we got to make fun of it. You know, you got to poke fun at where you're at. It's fine. Jersey gets shat on. It's okay. You know.
So one of the things I asked him, and I'll ask you as well, for you, what was it like growing up in New Jersey?
Honestly, it was awesome. Like, I feel like my parents are very social, so I was close to family. I had cousins that lived right close by, so it was a great place to grow up. And I was very blessed. I had a blast being a kid, but also times were very simple then. You know, just go outside, talk to the neighbors on the street. You know, just super chill. No social media, no nothing. So I think it was great. It was a lot of fun.
And growing up back then, what were you into? Like, as far as, were you into comedy already, or?
You know, that's funny. Obviously my parents put me in like a bunch of different things. So I was trying sports. So I did like tennis, basketball, softball, and instruments. So I did clarinet, guitar. I didn't do drums, but I wanted to do drums. But, and then what else did I do? Swimming. I did tennis. Yeah. Like there were just so many different things. And it was interesting. The one thing that I was actually really good at was acting. I was like maybe 12 or 13. But it was only for like a short period of time. And I don't know why. I was really, really into it. But then acting wasn't something that you could just pursue. So it was just something that I did, and then it passed, and that was it. But now thinking back, yeah, I would do random plays in high school. I danced a lot. Yeah, I really enjoyed acting, but I never like took it seriously, and it was only for a few years.
Okay, so you did just about everything.
Yeah, well, I sucked at all the other things I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so all the sports and instruments and all that was like, I think acting was honestly the one thing that I was kind of good at.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went to school out there. Did you go to college out there?
No, so I went to college at Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you went to Georgia Tech in Atlanta. High school, did you go to?
High school was Jersey.
In Jersey.
Yes.
Okay. Sports, I'm guessing everything you just mentioned?
Oh, this is high school?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. High school, yeah. So I did the rec sports. So I did
Okay.
like the soccer and the basketball and stuff, but wasn't good at it. I did it just to do it.
Yeah.
I was tinier than this, so yeah.
Just to keep you active.
Yeah, just keep me active.
I like it.
But yeah, dancing a lot. We would do like this yearly cultural show, and it was. I don't think I ever took anything seriously though, because high school is very much like, oh yeah, you're taking an elective or you're taking a class. Like it was mostly just focused on studies and getting good like SAT scores and getting into college. Like all the other things that we did growing up that were extracurriculars were all just considered extracurriculars. It wasn't like something that you could make a career out of.
So as I was doing research on you, I noticed Brazil was on there.
Yes.
That you moved to Brazil. Now, was that after high school or was that after college?
That was, so after college, I moved back to Jersey and I was doing finance. So started with accounting and finance jobs. And then when I was 25, I had a quarter life crisis, I guess now you could say. But I got an opportunity to work in Rio de Janeiro for a travel tourism company. So I was helping them with finances, and it was a startup, so super small. Finances, sales, marketing, but it would basically be like we'd create packages for all of these tourists because there's a language barrier in Brazil. And so all these international tourists that came, like I worked there for Carnival, New Year's, and World Cup in 2014. So we would just create, like we'd partner with hotels and Airbnbs and then like tours and stuff. So we would create that personal package for these personal clients. So I would help with that. They'd be like, Priya, we have people coming from Chicago. They're going on this boat party. Can you go entertain them? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, of course I'll go entertain them. Get on a boat. This is me working. I was like partying on a boat in Rio, making sure these guys from Chicago are entertained. Amazing. It was awesome. It was fun.
I mean, it's Brazil, first and foremost.
It is Brazil.
Never been there. So you got to tell me more.
It's my favorite. Rio's my favorite city in the world.
You said you lived there for 8 months.
8 months,
8 months, and you were working with this company at the time, I'm guessing. Yeah. What was the life out there? Why is it your favorite? It looks amazing.
So it was interesting because I learned so much. I've been moving around, I guess, my whole life. Like I feel like every few years I lived in different cities. But I think Brazil really taught me that you can do so many different things to fulfill your life. And it doesn't have to be, because I was doing finances, but then I was playing other roles in the company. But then when I was meeting other people, you just meet so many people from so many different backgrounds from all over the world. Like I was taking Portuguese lessons. My Portuguese instructor was also a photographer, right? My friend was doing journalism and also like teaching surfing lessons. Like there were people that were doing so many different things. And obviously like you're out of this corporate grind and corporate life. So I got to experience such a beautiful, rustic, raw version of a city that, I mean, you get both like the poor and the rich, but I mean, even just nature-wise, you're getting everything. You're getting the mountains, the beach, the lake, the rainforest, everything in one, and then of course like the party scene in one city. And yes, there's a lot of poverty, a lot of crime, but there's so much beauty in it. The people were so nice, so welcoming. The culture was so interesting. By a month in, I was speaking Portuguese because I was like, you have to learn Portuguese. There's no like, you can't just not. If you live in there, you gotta speak the language. So even learning a different language, conquering a new city really helped me gain confidence to be like, you know what, I think I can do anything. Like anything that's artistic, anything that's different. There are always solutions to involve other artistic passions into your life. And then now I've made that into my career. But I think that was like the first time I was just introduced to a completely different way of living. That's just very simple, very peaceful. There's less stress and yeah, I had the time of my life there.
I mean, I want to go.
You have to go.
So I will probably make the trip sometime next year. Top 3 things I got to do in Brazil.
Ooh, okay. I went hang gliding there, and it was beautiful. It was my mom and I and my 6-year-old aunt went hang gliding together. Well, no, they went paragliding. I went hang gliding, but I mean, the views are just insane. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful city. There's a hike you have to do called Dois Irmãos, which means 2 brothers, and it's these like 2 mountain peaks that come together. And it's a really cool hike because over there you can overlook the beach and the city, and it's beautiful. And then the third is, let's see. I think just beach culture is really like heavy there. Like people are playing sports on the beach. You can spend the whole day there. You can make friends so easily. Like just I made so many friends just on the beach, on the street. But beach life is very, very, very big there.
So the 8 months you lived there, did you learn a lot of Portuguese?
I did. I learned a lot.
How would I say Where is the restroom?
Okay. Wow, this is putting me on the spot. Okay, because I haven't spoken in a while. You know, you forget a lot.
Give me your best phrase.
Okay. Aonde I want to say banheiro, but I don't know if it's banheiro. But I know how to say what's up, e aí. I know how to say thank you, obrigado. I know how to say weed, baseado. Those are the key things that you need to, but yeah. Those I know.
That's going to get you around. Okay.
It did.
Now, have you been back there since?
No, I have not. And I want to go back. I definitely do.
So amazing.
Yeah.
And then also you mentioned you lived in Atlanta.
Yes.
You went to college in Atlanta.
Yeah. So I went to college in Atlanta, but then I came back and I worked in Jersey for a few years. So that's when I had like my Jersey, New York, early 20s life where I was just like, going and doing like all the New York things, boozy brunch, partying, like, you know what I mean? Like it was awesome. I loved it. So that was cool. And then after Brazil, I came back and that's when I got a job in Atlanta. So then I moved to Atlanta after that in 2015 in finance.
Wow. So you pursued, you know what's so crazy is you and my friend are both from Jersey and both of you pursued some kind of finance. He pursued accounting and got a degree in accounting.
Got it, yeah.
And went to go do that and they were like, yeah, you're not fit for this, whatever. And so he's like, all right, I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah.
And went out and did that.
Wow. How long was he in finance?
A long time.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, not a long time.
Okay.
He studied for it, but when he went, he never actually worked in it.
Okay,
like
got
it. Yeah, they were
got
just
it.
like, it just made him realize I'm going to take a turn. But okay. So
I was only doing finance to make money. That's about it. And and the stuff that I was doing wasn't even hard. It was like forecasting and budgeting for software companies. So it was mostly like get in, do the work, get out. I'm not like constantly thinking about work. I'm not trying to like be the VP of whatever. Like I was just trying to like do that, sustain that, and then on the side start new passions of mine or like start trying different things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you did all that. You were in New Jersey, then you shot out to, you did Brazil, you did Atlanta.
Yes.
And then from Atlanta, because you shot back home, you came to LA.
Yes.
And now you mentioned that you've been now almost, 6 years now?
It's coming up on 6 years because I moved right in the heart of the pandemic.
What pushed you to move to LA? You're like, pursue that acting career?
It's interesting. I had a lot of friends and family here initially, so I would visit LA every like couple years. There was either like event going on, like my cousin was getting engaged, or I actually I got into when COVID hit. I wanted to try to start my own podcast, so I got into it. But then I attended a podcast convention that was in LA. That was like in the beginning of 2020, right before COVID hit. And that was kind of like my call to be like, because I'd already visited a couple times, and every time I visited, I was like, oh, there's this like energy in LA. I love it. But I don't think I was ready to like just quit my finance job. I was just kind of finding that right time. But then when I did come to LA for the podcast convention, just to learn about what it takes to start a podcast and this and that, it called out to me to be like, you know what, I have to make the call. I have to do something different. Because I think every 4 or 5 years I get a little like, okay, what am I doing? Have I grown? Have I grown out of the city? What's my next move? And so, that's kind of.
Now, because you worked in finance for 10 years, correct?
Yes.
So when you came to LA, were you still doing finance?
Yeah. So with my job, they said because of COVID, we're all going remote. And I was like, all right, I'm going to LA. Came to LA and I got furloughed.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah. And well, it's funny because I was on the budgeting side and I would see the numbers. I was in charge of that. So I'm like, eventually, yeah, I'm screwed. But but it was literally also like just because of COVID, this and that. But when I did get furloughed, that's when I like kind of started to create my own podcast and put all of it into it, where I was doing the writing, the editing, the social media, and it was all just audio, but it was just my experimentation to be like, okay, can I just create something completely on my own? Can I put my voice out there? How does my voice sound? And then I would bring on guests and interview them. And it would be like South Asian entrepreneurs and creators that were pursuing their dreams. And it was funny because I was on a podcast talking about it, but I didn't feel like I was actually doing it because I was still, after a few months, I jumped back into a finance job because I got scared. It's like, oh, I can do it all. And then as soon as I did that, I'm like, no, I can't. Once I got like a taste of what that creative freedom looked like, I'm like, oh no, you gotta be all in, because you can't, if you have just one foot in, one foot out, it doesn't work like that in LA. You have to just put your all in, fall flat on your face, jump, leap, whatever it is, but you got to put your all in because there's no half-assing in this business.
Absolutely.
It's tough. It takes a lot of guts and balls to do what we do.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot of time, a lot of energy.
A lot of energy.
Couldn't agree more. When did you make the decision to be, or you said you got furloughed, but was that the decision to be like, okay, now I'm going to jump all into all my different creative adventures?
Yeah.
You mentioned
it was
you've
like
done a lot of
5
different
months.
things.
So this was like around this time in 2021 was when I was like talking to my parents. I'm like, I can't do this anymore, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, well, what's your plan? And I'm like, I don't have one. I'm out. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't got a plan. I don't got nothing. I'm just going to like, go for it. And I already had started to like get random gigs with like casting networks. I created my own profile for casting networks, and I started just kind of putting myself out there, and I slowly started getting gigs here and there. And I think 2022 was when I actually like did my first stand-up comedy show in LA, where that's when then my comedy journey took off, was in 2022.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because when you stopped working your like the consistent job, a post I saw that you made, you did voiceover, you did dog walking, you did like all of these
things.
like you did the wedding choreography.
Yes, I still do that. So I MC and choreograph for weddings, which I absolutely love.
Wow.
I walk dogs. I work with kids
As
a part of a kid entertainment company. So we like curate games for kids, birthday parties, this and that, so that the parents can have a breath. And we it's awesome. And what else do I do? Commercials. I work with production companies now. So I work on the production side of things. So I've been like a PA for production companies. And then, comedy and acting.
How do you balance all that?
I lose my mind every day. It's a lot. There's a lot of emotional endurance that you have to have. And I think there's also, you need to learn how to metabolize rejection. Because I think in this industry, you're going to get rejected all the time, left, right, and center. So that's why I'm more of like, try all the things, do all the things, because I don't believe in the whole stay in your lane, what people say, because I'm more of like, no, you have no idea what you could be good at. And even if you might be mediocre at something you try, that could align you with something else that you had no idea and take your career. I hit the mic. That's you. That's you, not even me. That could, pivot your career in a completely different direction that you didn't know. So like for me, I feel like with comedy, it definitely, I love it the most because that's when like I feel like I'm the most alive, and I have so much like growth in it that I've still have yet to do. But like I think with me, acting is like really, really tough. But commercials pay really, really well. So you have to have that as well. And then I think you should also just keep doing things that make you happy. So like I feel like with weddings and with emceeing and choreographing dances, those are the things that bring me the most joy. So it's doing, I think, a mix of things that keeps you sane, so that even if you are lacking in one area, you can still have some sort of self-worth to be like, okay, I'm doing something right in my life with like other things that I'm doing.
So speaking of commercials, I did see you were in a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah, so it was a social media online commercial.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't a Super Bowl. It was for for a cooler that was used in like a Super Bowl commercial. It was called Igloo. So it was a commercial for Igloo, but we themed it around Super Bowl. So it technically was like a Super Bowl commercial, but we were promoting the cooler for it.
Got it. So but did it air on the actual?
It did not air. No,
Oh, okay,
it just
but it was
aired on
something-
socials.
Oh, okay.
People
I was like,
were trying to look for it. I was like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't that. But it aired on socials, which is cool.
Okay, that's awesome.
And it was around the time of Super Bowl, so the timing worked out really well. Everyone was like, what is this? And I'm like, it's the social media online thing on your phone.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's now the way companies are going, right? They're allocating more of their budget towards creating social media online commercials versus the commercials you see on TV, because no one's watching TV, they're on their phones. So now I get to work with production companies where whether it's making like UGC commercials, or even if they book out a venue and they direct you and they film it, those are now hitting and paying well than like an actual, of course, a national commercial would be great for sure.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that I'm like finding that are paying the bills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, your comedy, let's break it down. The first time you stepped onto a stage and did your first kind of set, whether it was a minute, 2 minutes, what was that feeling like for you?
That was Atlanta. That was back when I had my finance job in Atlanta. It was 2019, and it was I was open. Like they put me as the opener because I had the least experience. This was my first time, and I think they gave me like I did a 5 to 7 minute set, and I did well for my first time. But I think it was because I emceed a lot of weddings. I was I've always been very, very comfortable behind a mic. Obviously, stand-up's very different. But before that, I actually, like, one of my cousins got engaged and I wrote this roast for him. That was like, it happened to be like a 10 to 12 minute thing. And it was actually in LA when I wasn't living in LA. And that was another time where people were like, what are you doing? You want to move to, like, I did this roast. It was awesome. And then literally people came up to me being like, what are you doing? What are you doing in your life right now? And where are you? And I'm like, I'm in Atlanta doing finance. They were like, no, you need to move to LA and start doing stand up. And there were people, I mean, these people, I had no idea. They were all my cousin's friends. But that was back in 2018. That was like oh, okay, maybe I do need to move to LA. But no, my first time on stage, obviously it was nerve wracking, but I feel like I had a lot of support from my friends and I crafted my set very well where it was just like, it was kind of intertwined and it flowed. I didn't do any crowd work. I just did joke. And I obviously think now back that like looking back, a lot of things I could change, but being my first time, I think I did well. And a lot of people had good feedback. So then from there, I was like, all right, let's do it.
Like you said, so you were already comfortable behind the mic when it comes to emceeing and all that.
Yes.
So when you got on stage, you were like, well, these are going to be my jokes and it's either going to work or not.
Exactly.
Right? Now, as you've been doing comedy, we comedians will have the moments of it not going as planned.
Oh, yeah.
So, quote unquote, bombing.
Bombing, yep.
Have you faced that, and what was that feeling like?
Oh, absolutely. I faced that. Well, it's so funny. I used to do improv before stand-up. So that's where I did 3 years of improv at Village Theater in Atlanta. So this was back in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So before I did stand-up, I started with improv. So I was able to get stage presence and this and that. But one of the times I did stand-up, it was doing comedy at an improv show in Atlanta. I didn't realize the improv crowd can be a little snooty, or not snooty, but a little bit like just like entitled, not like a typical normal crowd. And it was a really small room. So I was telling my jokes and like there was barely any laughter. And that threw me off to be like, oh my God. And like I froze a little bit. My flow was completely off. And then I think I apologized and I ran off stage and I like called up my roommate. I was like, you lied to me. You said I was funny. Guess what? I'm not funny. I'm not doing this anymore. And she was like, relax. This is your second show you've ever done. Chill out. You're fine. And it was just, I just wasn't prepared enough. And you know what though? Those moments teach you a lot more than the moments that do well because I just wasn't prepared enough. I hadn't practiced enough, and that was just all on me. And also, like, you got to do your homework and research when you are going to perform at venues. What's the crowd going to be like? What's the size? This and that. So, I mean, now when I produce my own shows, I know exactly. I mean, majority of like my friends in the community are coming out, Indian community. Now I'm getting a lot of more newer faces, but like. I cater towards the crowd. Or if if I opened for Zarna Garg, who has an older audience, I'm then catering jokes towards them so that obviously you're just going to connect a little bit more. But it's honestly just, you need to have those moments to teach you.
Yeah.
To teach you what you need to work on. And even right now, I'm still continuously working on my stage presence, working on my jokes. And there's so much yet I need to even explore when it comes to stand-up, like crowd work. Like I'm usually the host of an event. So I'm not going to go and pick on people or this or that. I'm just going to let the comedians do that. And I just make people feel welcome. Again, that's an easy thing to do. Crowd work is not easy. It's in the moment jokes. But then that's when you kind of get that support from the audience to be like, oh, okay, cool. She's in it right now. She's in the moment versus just projecting jokes. So there's so many things that I'm still learning and doing, and Netflix was a joke festival was happening this whole week. So even just watching these seasoned comics go on stage, I was like taking notes on every single thing because I'm like, that is so good. And I feel like there's always room for improvement. And yeah.
So going from stepping on stage the first time to now producing and hosting your own comedy shows.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that whole process of it? Because I saw you post that you did take a lot of rejection in the beginning of trying to go to different clubs and host your show.
Yes.
Walk me through that process.
Well, it's interesting, right? If you don't have like videos or proof that you did comedy, I maybe had 1 or 2 videos, but I don't think they were the best videos to show. But then when I came to LA, first of all, I came to LA when everything was closed. I had no idea what the pop-in clubs were, like what groups I have to network with, like zero idea. So when I'm pitching to these shows, obviously they're like, well, we don't know you. So like it's a no. It's going to be a no. And then one of my friends was just like, I feel like, yeah, I don't remember who, but they were just like, why don't you produce your own show? Put on your own show. You know that you're good. You just maybe get like a bunch of comedians together, put on a big show, and that's how you kind of create your own opportunity for yourself. And so that's what I did do one show at Hotel Cafe. It was like that was the first time someone said yes to me, and it was one of those like beginner up and coming comedian shows that you can just go on and stuff. So I remember I did that, and that was my first time, and a bunch of people came out to support me. And I think that was also an indicator of like, oh, okay, got it, Priya. She can do stand up. She's not, because at one point I was just talking about it a lot. Like all 2021, I was like, stand up, stand up, stand up, but I wasn't going up because things were still closed. But I think 2022, finally people saw that I was like, oh, they're like, okay, cool. She's up on stage. She got jokes. She'd craft a set. And then from there, I kind of then, and then that's when I started producing my own shows.
People who were saying no, once you built that, I guess, reel of yourself,
Yeah.
that's when they kind of started accepting you in and being like, okay, yeah, you can host a show here.
Yeah. Well, I also think it's more of just going up on stage more and more. And for me, it's interesting because I am very, very big on community. And so when I produce and host, that takes up so much more time and effort versus like my comedic set. So I always make sure I have like amazing comedians that are doing far more than me, much better than me on my lineup, so that I can do my producing / hosting and not be, I can hit jokes here and there, but I'm never going to be the person with the best set because I'm, again, wearing multiple hats. So when I'm producing and hosting a show, one of the things I'm really good at is getting everyone together in the community. So for me, because I go and support so many people, so like come my show, I have actors and writers and directors and DJs and dancers and singers, content creators, entrepreneurs all showing up because I'm big on community. So I give out a lot of support. And then when my turn is, I do get that back in full. So I think that's a strength of mine, is bring people together, hosting, and then my comedy is stronger when I'm a part of somebody else's show because they're doing all that work. So then all I got to focus on is getting up on stage, doing my set, and leaving. I'm not worried about the guests. I'm not worried about the lighting, the sound, worrying, like none of that. It's just focus on that. So there is a difference. Obviously, I would love to get to a place where it's like, yeah, produce, host, and headline, this and that, of course. But I think I took it step by step where I'm like, let me just like cater to my strengths first, produce, host. Yes, I will do comedy, but then I will strengthen my comedy as I'm getting up on stage more and more. And I think now this year, I get to be a part of more shows because my comedy is getting better.
Yeah, nice. I also saw a post you had Jay Shetty at one of your shows.
Yeah,
huh?
I had Jay Shetty's wife Ravi come to my show.
Yeah, what was that like?
Crazy. It was. I had met his wife at Erewhon because they were promoting their drink brand, Junie. And so I randomly bumped into her and I was like, oh my God, I'm a huge fan, this and that. And I do comedy. And I just was like, yeah, next time, I have a show. And she's like, yeah, let me know. So then I randomly, I think it was one of my shows. I was like, let me just DM her. Let's see. So I just DM'd her and I was like, hey, producing a South Asian comedy show at Bourbon Room. Obviously no pressure, but if you want to come, there's going to be 2 VIP tickets waiting for you and Jay on me, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it was funny. She was like, can I bring a friend? So I'm like, okay, Jay's not coming. She's bringing her friend. But then she brought a friend and Jay. So they all showed up and I was like, oh, snap. They're here. And everyone was like, Jay Shetty's here. And so all the comedians are like, oh my God, I'm about to talk about some raunchy, crazy. Like Jay's about to hear me talk about all these things, but he was so cool about it. All the comedians picked on him. I didn't. I was scared. I was like, oh, I want to be homies with you. And now we are. Nice. But all the comedians picked on him. He was a good sport about it. He was like they were sitting right in the front. And it was cool. It was like it was just one of those, like, I'm very big on shooting your shot, like with any and everyone, no matter how famous somebody is. Like I've emailed Nikki Glaser to be like, hey, do you want to headline my show? And she emailed back being like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so out of town, but thank you. I'm sorry, I'm out of town, but thank you for thinking of me. And I was like, oh, people reply, like, cool. So now I'll just DM all these comedians to be like, oh, you want to headline my show? Or guests to be like, do you want to come to my show? And so now there's just like more people that are just showing up. I mean, if you offer them tickets, they're going to be like, why not? But I just love that aspect of like, even for people that are attending my show, they get to then network and meet so many cool creatives in the industry. So I make it like where, yeah, like it's a comedy show, but I want people to meet and connect and network and make friends so that you feel like you're part of something that's bigger than yourself.
I think you have an interesting take when it comes to the rejection side of things in this industry in general.
Yeah.
What's the mindset? How do you get past all that? Because you get a lot of no's, you get a lot of rejection, you get a lot of pushback, and your frame of thought is like a lot of people be like, oh, I'm too scared to maybe email or reach out to somebody. How do you just front all that?
I think keep expectations low. Like I'm probably going to get a no. That's probably what's going to happen. These people are very busy. You know what I mean? Like I know that I'm not big on social media or whatever, but if you're presenting them with an opportunity, right? If I'm like, hey, I'm producing a show and I would love for you to headline and I'm going to pay you, then for comedians, they're always looking for work. And then for other people that want to attend my show, it's more of like, hey, come to my show. I'm giving you entertainment and, great seats, this and that. So I think at the end of the day, everybody's human. Everybody, we all started from somewhere, and if you just approach it where I have now created my own seat at the table. I'm not just a random fan. I'm like, hey, I'm a comedian, I'm a producer, so I have something to offer. And I think when you have that, it's more of like, yeah, I'm gonna put it all out there, and if you want to say no, that's fine. Maybe later it'll happen, but I'm already in tune. Like, I'm conditioned to be like, okay, it's probably gonna be a no.
I think that's such a great mindset to have, and especially to pursue a career, whether it's you're an actor or a comedian, anything, because with having that frame of mind, it's like, okay, it's just on to the next. That's just part of the game rather than letting it defeat you. So I think that's pretty cool. You're also a very positive person, inspiring person, and you talk a lot about not only community, but inspiring other people to pursue their passion and just get out of, in a sense, their own way.
Yeah.
Has that always been you?
I think so. That's always been me. It's so funny you say that. I was just thinking back, like even in high school, I started to notice that, I mean, when you're kids, you have all this confidence. You're doing everything, right? You're fearless. You have no problem falling flat on your face, getting back up and doing it all over again. And then once we get older, we just start to lose that, where we're like, wait a minute, we're not good enough, right? Society wants to put us in a box and label us and tell us what we can and can't do. And in high school, I started to realize so many of my friends, I went to the #1 public school in Jersey. So super nerdy. Everyone was just like, go get her. But I started to notice that, like, when you start taking honors classes and AP classes and then start studying for the SATs and getting into college, so many of my friends would get so stressed and feel so dejected because of a grade or because of something they couldn't get. And I noticed that right from the get, where I would always tell people, I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you're still smart. You're still fine. Even if you didn't do well on this test, like, I would always be extra kind, because I noticed even from a young age that people just started to like lose that confidence, especially when you get like in your teens and high school. High school is so tough, right? You don't even know who you are. You're trying to build character. You're influenced by your friends. People are trying to be cool. And for me, I've always been this very eager, enthusiastic person, no matter what. So in high school, that could be depicted as desperate, needy, like whatever. Like she's just trying to like, be everywhere. But I think that energy is so unique, where I'm like, we lose that as we get older. No one's excited. I would get excited about like math class. I love the teacher. People would make so much fun. And I'm like, I'm going in and with a big smile on my face. But I give it to my parents. My parents gave me just a lot of love, a lot of confidence, a lot of support from the beginning. They put me in so many different things, which helped me, because even though I wasn't good at all those activities, I was still trying and I was still doing. And so that helped build confidence, where I give it a lot to them, because they were always just like my biggest cheerleaders. So even from the get, and even now, I will tell people, I'm like, whatever it is that you want to do, because I feel like life gets so hard and you feel like you don't have time, and you put all these passions aside and you're like, when I retire, when I hit this age or whatever. And I'm like, no, if there's something that's calling out to you, if there's a voice in your head, do not wash it out. It's easy to wash it out, but you have to listen to it, because it's there for a reason. It is your future self telling you the life you could have, and you just have to listen to it and tune everybody else out. Like, you have to believe it before everybody else does. And that's really tough when everyone's saying no, or people are like, or you open social media and you're like, all these people are doing what I want to do. What makes me different? And it's like, no, you're already different, because your life, your perspective, your lens on things, your experiences make you different and unique. And a lot of people don't realize that.
I love that you said that. There's another thing you talk a lot about too. You talk about manifestation.
Yes.
Why is that so important?
It is because I think we don't allow ourselves to even dream big anymore, right? Everything just seems so out of reach that it's like, even if you're like talking about like, oh, I want to write a book someday. It's like, oh, well, no, am I qualified enough? You know, what would I even write about? People already written enough books. Like, what do I have to contribute? But then if you really just like think about it and put it out into the existence, like someday actually it may happen. I think saying it out loud and saying it with intention and then doing things that are not necessarily that, but working towards finding your own voice, right? Like writing and just this and that will help you get there. But you have to plant that seed, because that seed's never gonna grow unless you have a vision for it, right? So for me, everyone always asks me, they're like, what is your end all be all? Like, what is the dream? And I'm like, it's so vague, but all I can see is me walking into like an arena full of people. So whether that's a comedy special, whether that's whatever it is, it's like stage, lights, people. Like I just see that in my future, whether that's a show, a podcast, whatever. Like it's like, okay, if that's what I'm seeing, let's make mini versions of that to help me get there. And that's also what keeps me going, where I'm like, all these shows are just steps. They're stepping stones for what's bigger and better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the reason I think that's so important is because when there's a thing they say, when you can get there in your mind, then you can get there.
You got to conquer your mind.
Yeah. Once you're there in their mind, then you can actually do it like physically and make it happen. Now, with everyone that sees you, whether on this podcast or in person or on your social media, a lot of people see you're very positive, you're very outgoing, you're very inspirational. How do you handle the moments that are tougher in life? And because we all go through our ups and downs and maybe having a meltdown or a breakdown. How do you, or one, do you get them? Because you're so energetic, so lively.
1,000% I get them.
And two, how do you manage them?
I definitely have meltdowns. I definitely have breakdowns. I cry. I think crying, everyone, I feel like when you grow up, you're like, oh, crying is a weakness. Don't show people that you cry. I mean, I do cry alone, but I think crying, releases energy, and it allows new energy to enter. So when you cry and you release that like stress, emotion, whatever it is, it's actually very therapeutic. Also, for me, an emotion lasts for 90 seconds. So whenever you feel something, whether it's sadness, jealousy, whatever, insecurity, I say feel it, go through the motions. Obviously, for some of us, it lasts more than 90 seconds, but you then have the option of what you want to do with it. How do you want to act on it? If you're feeling sad, okay, do you want to keep feeling sad, or do you want to bounce right out of it? Because, and again, emotion just lasts for 90 seconds. So it's up to you to figure out how you deal with it. I think for me, I lean on my family, my friends a lot. I reach out to them. I think for people, I am a very positive person, but when I'm upset and sad, people actually, I feel like you connect more when you talk about your pain and what you're going through with your family and your friends, because that's where the realness comes out. That's when you have these conversations where they remind you of who you are and what you're doing, because it's easy to forget that. Living in LA, or everyone's doing everything. Everyone has a podcast. Everyone's doing commercials, this, acting, comedy. I'm like, oh, okay, who am I? But it's important to lean into your community and also self-regulate, because it's so easy to just, go into a spiral. And I spiral all the time. Even when I'm driving, I'll be driving to an event, crying my eyes out, wipe my tears, and I'm like, walk in, smile, nobody knows. And everyone's like, Priya, what's up? And obviously I'm good at having real conversations with people where I'm like, I just cried in the car, and they're like, what? And we're having this like amazing conversation, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's very normal. I just think it's more of just like how you act on it, because then, I know that I have a lot of good energy to give out. So it's important to go through the motions, but then again, just snap out of it.
With comedy can be a very great outlet in regards to regulation of emotions and all that. For your comedy, your style, when people come to see you, what do you hope they get out of it? besides a laugh?
Yeah, I love making people laugh, but I love making people feel better about themselves, feel just a little bit more fulfilled. So even in my comedy shows, I do end it on like a positive inspirational note because, I do want to remind people that like, yeah, us comedians, we're up on stage, living out our dreams. It's very possible for any person to do that. And that's why I love, highlighting other people and lifting other people up too. So I think, I also don't think we're kind enough in the society. No one's vocal enough. No one's talking more, And so I think having that energy to give out is so key. If you have it, I say give it out because there's not enough of it. And I do want people to just feel like they matter because it's so hard to not feel like that in LA.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I think you're doing such a great job with not only your content, your comedy, the sense of community that you're continuing to bring and bring people together to laugh and share a stage. So
yeah,
I think that's so awesome. More, I want to know about your.
Are we gonna talk about you, or is this all just me? What about you? I want to know about you. We haven't even caught up yet.
This is all you. I mean, you feel free. Go ahead. What would you like to know?
Well, no, congrats also, first of all, on this podcast. This is great. This is what creating your own opportunity looks like. The setup is awesome. The team is great. You guys are awesome. Shout out. But like, when did you start this and what made you want to start this?
So this is the third episode and I started it, I want to say about a month ago.
Okay,
cool. Brought it back because I had a podcast back in 2020 during the COVID times.
Yeah, you did.
And it was called Embrace the Journey. Mm-hmm. And so kind of similar premise, but then I was like, well, I want to change it up. And then I called it How They Started. And I was like, cool, that's simple enough. It tells you exactly what it is. And it's about entertainers, content creators, entrepreneurs, and bringing them on and having them share their story of how they got started. For yours, how you got started in comedy and everything that you're doing now. Especially even, I saw you make some skits for social media.
I do collabs. I do skits now. I feel like that's also a cool outlet to have.
So it was really interesting. I think that's a great premise. The girl who was riding the rickshaw bike while you were singing.
The E-Trike karaoke.
Yeah, that was a cool experience. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I met her at a friend's birthday party. And it was one of my friends that I grew up with in Jersey. Now he lives here. Shout out Raj. But I met her at his birthday party and we were talking about it and she's telling me, I ride a bike around and I do E-Trike karaoke. And, I was like, oh my God, that would be amazing. And then I guess again, very LA, we don't talk for years. And then I hit her up to be just like, hey, I'm interested in this and that. And then I think she had an opportunity for me to film a commercial, but that didn't work out. But she's like, oh, let's do the E-Trike karaoke thing. And it was so much fun. She does a great job with it too, because she has a videographer that comes with her. She plays the music, people sing on the streets. And it's just it's so cool. It's a very cool concept. And I was in my Bieber phase post Coachella, so I was like, I have to sing Bieber,
Yeah, you were really getting into it.
I was getting into it.
Now, one of the angles in that video is someone on a bike next to her.
Yeah, someone's on a bike next to her, and then they gave me a handheld because in his video he's like, yeah. So they gave me that, and then they were also filming me to get the full effect. But this guy's literally on his bike, just all right. Go and it's it's cool.
What do you feel you pour the most energy into, even outside of comedy?
I think that would be weddings.
Weddings.
When it is wedding season,
okay.
It is just because along with emceeing and dancing, I've created this package that I call, I'm workshopping the name, the wedding story experience. And it's basically telling the story of a bride and groom so I act as the bride, someone else acts as the groom, and I do voiceovers. And I incorporated, it's this skit dance production where it's retelling the story of how they met. But I have skits, and in the middle I have dances. So I integrate dances from his side of the family and then her side, and then friends dances and cousins and this and that. And it's this 10 to 15 minute production I put together that I gift to the bride and groom. Well, now people pay for it, but it's a service where it takes at least a month or two to create because I'm working with the bride and groom. I get content, I make it funny. And that's now something that I offer. I'm working on my website. My website's been working on it for years, and I'm okay, I really gotta get on it. But it's something that I offer that I genuinely love doing, because who wouldn't want their story, acted out in a really funny way with Bollywood and expressions and drama and comedy. And so that's also something that I offer, which I have fun with.
First of all, one of these days you got to teach me some kind of choreography.
Oh my God, yeah, you want to do it right now? In the chair?
After one of the ones I really liked, actually, it was a video of, it looked like you and a friend in Miami.
Yeah, oh,
And
that was my cousin.
Oh, your cousin. It
Yes.
was like with a view and everything. I'm
That's
like,
his
that
view.
seems like a pretty cool dance to learn.
Yeah.
So maybe that, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
see.
do it. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And I was telling you that
You did your research. Wow, I'm impressed.
that I'm not too familiar with Indian culture.
Yeah.
When it comes to weddings, we were talking a little beforehand. It's a 4 or 5 day thing.
4 or 5 day event.
Wow.
There's like different types of ceremonies and vibes of the event. I feel like our like rehearsal dinner pre-wedding event is where there's a lot of dances and a lot of liveliness, and then the reception is a little more formal. And then you of course have the wedding ceremony with all like the rituals. So, and you wear different outfits for every event. There's dancing, drinking, food. It's
Wow.
like chaos. It's high energy. It takes a lot. But it is, I mean, Indians do have the best. We do have the best wedding celebration.
It sounds like a very great bender.
It is
like,
a
because
great bender.
Because you're drinking, you're having fun.
Everyone looks good. You're reuniting with people.
Wow.
Like it's weddings are actually my favorite types of events.
Now, you said earlier in the podcast that you wanted to learn drums and you never did.
Yeah.
But you're now currently learning how to play. Is it called a dol?
The dole, that's
The
right.
dole.
So I did learn how to play the dole. One of my cousin was getting married, and I surprised him at his barat, which is like the groom's entrance, and I learned how to play the dole, and so I played it. And now, for anyone that does get married, if there is a doli, which is the guy that's playing the dole, I'll always grab me like, can I play for like a couple minutes, and I'll just like bang it a little bit, but. That is something that it's so funny that I wanted to learn the drums when I was younger. And I think it was a class when I was in 5th grade. I still remember. It was like all guys and I was the only girl. And then they took me out of the class because there was another boy that wanted to do the class. They put me in clarinet. And I was like, and I hated the clarinet.
Nice.
And I'm like, come on. And so I was so excited and that's what happened. And I never got to play the drums. But like, I was like, can you imagine if I started in 5th grade? I would have been like,
Yeah.
pro. I would have been a pro at it.
Now, you also do voiceover. Do you still do voiceover?
It's so hard to get voiceover gigs.
Fiverr?
I try. I've tried a lot. I think I did get a few like back in the day, maybe 2023, but I'm still trying actively to get voiceover stuff. I know you do a lot of voiceover stuff.
Well, I did. I stopped doing it far as because I used to do it on Fiverr as well.
Yeah.
But I did a ton of Mickey Mouse stuff.
The Mickey Mouse impression. Wait, I think I told you this, but it was so funny. My 3-year-old niece, my 2 nieces, one's 3 and one's 2, they were naming all the family members. They named every family member after a character. So they were like, yeah, mom's Minnie Mouse. They're like, dad's Goofy. And they were like, but Priya Fia's Mickey Mouse. And I was like, I am Mickey Mouse? That's like the main dude. Like, what an honor. And then I was on FaceTime with them and they were telling me, and I'm like, that's so cute. I was like, hey guys, what's up? Here's Mickey Mouse. How do you like my impression? And they're like, no, you don't sound like that. I'm like, oh, come on, give me a break. And then I thought of you. And I'm like, my friend does the best Mickey Mouse impression. You got to do it. You got to do it.
Hi, pal, it's me, Mickey Mouse, and Minnie and Donald and Pluto and Goofy. Oh boy, this is my dream.
Oh boy, this is my dream. I'm like a Mickey Mouse on crack.
You're Mikey Mouse.
I'm Mikey Mouse. I need like a deeper.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried to do it, and they called me out. They were like, "I was like, do I sound like him?" And they're like, yeah,
Do I
I'm
sound
like, all right.
You're giving it your
But I
best.
thought of you because I'm like, oh, my homeboy does the best Mickey Mouse impression.
Man, what a day. What a
I know.
day.
You used to do that on Clubhouse all the time.
Mm-hmm. Loved it.
Yeah.
So back to your comedy question about that. When it comes to putting together, it's like I want to tell you this, but then you're gonna force me.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to do an open mic,
Yes.
just to try it. And people
Yes.
have always said, "Go try it," and I'm
Yes.
like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." And I'm like, and
I
then
think
I
everyone
don't.
should try
and
it.
then I don't do it. But what's the process of putting a joke together and being like, okay, this is gonna work. This is not gonna work.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? I actually was thinking of like hosting my own stand-up writing comedy class because there's so many people that have come to me being like, I want to get started, but I just don't know how. Like, how do you do
Sure.
it? What's like the first thing? And I think
Add that
for
to
me-
another thing to do.
Yeah, seriously, I was like, oh, that's such a good idea, and I was like, but I'm looking for a space right now. This space actually is really nice.
Mm-hmm. I'll
Um,
connect you with the guy.
hook it up. But basically, I would start with people just writing out what your, like, either just like stories, what your perspective is on things, what you like, what you don't like, because comedy comes from like your unique perspective on something, right? So like if you pick a topic, yes, you could talk about it, but like what do you want? What is your angle on a specific thing? But I would not focus even on being funny. I would just right from the beginning, just write out everything, right? It's like write out like, key key things that you like, traits that you think that are your strongest suits, like maybe 3 things, whether it's, you're loud or you're a good speaker or whatever, and then kind of like dissect each of those things. So whether it's a story, whether it's how you grew up, culturally, current events, there's like different topics that I would just like write about. And then from there, you can find humor in it where you take something, you take an angle, and then it's like this whole thing of just like crafting a punchline, which is like a misdirection, right? There's just so many different ways, but people are so focused on being funny. And I'm like, I think everyone's already funny. I think it's more of just like the writing part of it where you have to figure out what your unique take is on something. So that's it. That is a good idea. See, look at this, we're manifesting already. But I would just start with that of just kind of like writing things out about yourself that are just facts, and then from there taking a deeper dive into those things.
Yeah.
Like how did you grow up? Where did you grow up? What was weird about it? Like, your parents, like how did they raise you? Are there things that you could pick on with them? Because Indian parents are hilarious. My parents are hilarious. I make fun of my mom and dad all the time. People love it, right? Because it's like you can make fun of like the way they don't say things properly or whatever it is. And then a big part of it is storytelling. So like even when you tell a story about something that happened to you that was funny, there's a way to craft that story whether it's like doing an impersonation, right? Acting it out, physical. So there's a lot of different elements, but like, again, right in the beginning, I wouldn't even focus on being funny. I just focus on writing. Like get that process needs to be started, because that's kind of where then you can dissect different thoughts and different stories and align them together.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. I'm going to rewatch this back and now take notes on that and be like,
Call
okay,
me up!
this just sounds pretty funny. Wait, don't be funny.
Yeah.
First of all, and then go from there. Now, something else that is really impressive is we were discussing you host and put together the comedy shows. You said, did you mention all of them or all the ones now you've been selling out? That's pretty impressive.
So all the ones that I host, I've sold out.
Really?
For sure, yes.
What does it take to sell out a comedy show?
I think I sleep with a lot of people. I'm just kidding. That's my go-to response when anyone's like, how did you sell out? And I'm like, I slept with half these people. No,
Yeah.
Obviously that's not true. But again, I think it's more of being a supporter of other people in the community, because I think, again, you got to give to get. And I don't think a lot of comedians go and support other people, or like a lot of comedians aren't hosting their own show, correct? So like with me, when I'm hosting, I am bringing all of the people. So I do reach out. I don't do too much marketing, but I think with me, it's more of just kind of like, I am constantly going to events. So it is a little bit of word of mouth. It's a little bit of like blind DMing people, this and that, reminding people. But usually, yeah, when my shows aren't very frequent, like they're like once every quarter, I'd say, or like twice a year, but not like, not too many. But for the ones that I do, yeah, I'm able to pack up the room. And it's a good way for everyone to also just like reconnect. And people are probably like, oh, I haven't seen people in a while. And even being in a room full of just like creators and a lot of different people in LA that are doing great things is also very inspiring, to be in a room like that. Like people lost their minds when they got to meet Jay at my show.
I mean, yeah.
They're like, where am I? It's a comedy show. We were like dressed like in like baggy, jeans and like sweatshirt and hoodie. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know. But now people know, yeah, dress up for my shows. You don't know who you're gonna meet. And
All right.
I also like booking out venues that are fancier or like nicer than these like grungy theaters where you walk in and it's just like disgusting looking, these old like I like a nicer vibe. So I like to find also newer venues and introduce newer venues to people as well that aren't going to comedy shows a lot.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
With a lot of comedy shows, you get these like dark demonic vibes, either from a host or for comedians. They push down a lot. And so I think again, what makes my show different is that I'm bringing like really good energy, which is very memorable for people, because I also think, you know, people are taking time and energy and effort to come out and support you. And so I want to make it worth every dime, and for them to also leave feeling fulfilled and also like inspired to be like, yes, like I can do more.
Yeah. Always more. Now, I'll come back to the other one.
It's okay. Don't worry.
What are some, for somebody who wants to get into comedy,
Yeah.
what are 3 things they should focus on and do right now?
Writing is one thing. I think, you know, in order to like, even to make a set, right? Even to talk about a topic, it depends on how long, but usually, you know, it's like a minute or half a minute, depending on how much you want to spend time. So even in like a 5-minute set, you're not really covering, right, that many different topics. You're just integrating different punchlines and different things in a topic. So for me, just to simplify it, I'm like, okay, if I want to talk about 5 different things, right, in a set, whether it's like, you know, where I grew up, something about LA, make so much fun of LA and your observations about LA and where you live, your culture, current events, and like a dating story. People eat that up all the time. I have so many. That's already a set. So once you just simplify like what exactly, and also I think finding your voice takes a long time. Like I don't even think I've found my voice yet. Like I'm very on stage, I'm very like it's like high energy, high this, but there's levels to it. There's a calmness that you have to get where you it's okay to just accept the silence, that like not everyone's gonna be laughing and roaring at everything you say. You just kind of have to again grow into your own voice, and that also takes time. But yeah, to your point, to start off, I would then just like pick a few topics that you have something that you have a strong opinion about, and write about it. And again, don't make it funny. Just write what happened, this and that, and then from there, there's always going to be different things you can dissect from it. I also think watching other people's specials, you can learn so much because of the types of jokes people are making. Right? There's like a rule of 3. If you're comparing something, you do 1, 2, and then the third one is like the funniest, most hard hitter one. There's impressions, there's misdirection, there's crowd work, there's storytelling, punchlines, all of that. So, you know, there's a lot of different things. So I would definitely, you know, I say like, yeah, write those out, watch comedy specials, and then network with people in the industry to be like, hey, can we meet up? And you could just vibe check and run ideas off of people. Obviously open mic nights are good. I haven't been to that many open mic nights. For me, I'm more of just kind of like produce my own shows, this and that. I definitely want to hit a few just because that's when you can like practice your jokes. For me, I just practice my jokes on my friends. But I think it's like, and some of them hit, some of them don't. But open mic nights are great for workshopping new jokes and kind of like figuring that out. I haven't done as many as I'm suggesting. Like, you should do this. I haven't done it, but you should do this.
But you should do it.
So that's what everyone's like, you should do that. And I'm like,
2 venues, because you talked about these, like Laugh Factory, you've performed at all these iconic venues. 2 venues you would love to perform at one day.
Well, I am performing at the Comedy Store in a couple weeks, and
Nice.
it's my
When is it?
debut performance. It's May 22nd, it's Friday.
Nice.
First time at the Comedy Store. I think that's a big deal because the Comedy Store is the most iconic venue.
You still have tickets being sold, or is it sold out?
No, I haven't. No, sorry, I haven't even got the ticket link yet. But I haven't like shared it with anyone.
Send it to me. I'll go.
I will. So the Comedy Store is one, and the Hollywood Improv would be another one. I haven't done. I want to produce a show there, but I haven't even performed there. So that's another venue that I want to hit, because I think the 3 big ones are Laugh, Hollywood Improv, and Comedy Store. So I've done Laugh. Now it's time to branch out to the other 2.
Yeah, that's exciting. As far as up and coming projects, what's coming next besides that show you got on the 22nd? Anything more on the creative side with skits or other ventures you're doing?
I'm producing my own show on June 4th.
Nice.
And then me and one of my other friends who's a comedian is producing a singles comedy dating event, because at every show there's like a segment where we like do this like comedy dating portion where we bring people on and we try to matchmake, and it's hilarious and everyone's in on it because it's like improv and it's just like we're rating people's Hinge profiles and it's so funny. So we're making like an entire show that'll be in July. And then I have 8 weddings this year. And so August, I have 4 back-to-back. So August is just just weddings on weddings, traveling. September and October are also, I'll have to figure out. It's pretty packed with weddings and travel. But in the intermittent of all that, definitely more skits, definitely more writing, and hopefully booking more commercials. The acting is tough, man. It's been the when I talk about rejections, it's not even comedy anymore. It's like acting, like even commercials, this and that. It's so tough. I didn't realize how tough it is until you're like in the grind and grit of it to be like, great, I had 15 auditions in 3 weeks and got none of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was normal.
Well, it's also changed now. Everything's at home now,
Yeah.
right? You don't even have to go in. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. You get to save a little gas, right?
Exactly. Still getting rejected on the camera too, so no matter what. But yeah, hopefully booking more of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Because those pay very well.
Yeah.
You got to make this in this economy.
My goodness, you're telling
I'm
me.
struggling.
I know.
Even
I
with
know.
my 8 jobs, it's still really hard.
Yeah, well, that is going to wrap up this episode.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome. I feel like I talked so much we didn't even get to talk about you.
No, I mean, that's the premise
We'll
of the
catch up
show.
after.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
premise of the show.
Yeah.
Get to know you, how you started.
You are so kind. Thank you. I
Right.
mean, you know I could just yap all day.
Yeah, I love it, though.
Yeah.
We are going to talk more, though.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Awesome.
But that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. New episodes every Tuesday. It's going to be on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Drop a like, leave a comment. Really helps out the video a lot. Other than that, we will see you on the next episode. Peace.